Welcome to this more in-depth walkthrough of the functionality of LeadsGO. In this video, we'll look at the functionality and configuration that are available to back-office users in order to manage and structure and control the flow of leads within LeadsGO. My name is Hans-Petter Ramstad and I'm the founder of LeadsGO. So we'll go to leadsgo.com and press sign in. I will use my admin functionality and I will sign in to my demo account. If you are not linked to more than one account, then you will not see the choice of accounts as a step. So now we are within a LeadsGO. So let's look at the functionality. In the main menu to the left, you have the home page where we are now. You have access to two search pages where you search for leads or you search for persons. Access to dashboard. You have access to different types of reports on the account. Collector and act functionality as a replica of what's in the mobile app. Possibilities to set and control the flow of leads that are put in buckets. User administration, you have the account homepage. You have access to portfolio, which is a construct where you are grouping accounts into portfolio that gives you possibilities to work on more than one account at a time. You also have account configuration functionalities for alias used for emails, tags that are used for grouping leads, for example. Sharing of buckets, you have rewards, which goes to the bonus points. You have reminders you can set up. You can set up events. You can set up messages that are pushed out to collectors, and you can see a history, what's going on that or what has happened on the account. You also have possibility, if you have set up integrations, to look at the integration hub. And also from communication, you can send out invitations to become users and collectors at LeadsGO. Under My User, you have access to configure your user and also to see the buckets that are available to you that you can set up and make available in the collector functionality. System admin, you do not have access to. At the top, you have access to search across all these functionalities. You have access to health page. You can click on that and see what's the status of the leads handling, if you are set up with integration, the health of that, and also how the leads collection is taking place, if you are meeting the KPIs and the goals that you have set up for that. Both from leads volume and from a platform usage perspective. From here you can also invite users. You can go to network functionality that are not available to everybody. You can access help functionality, give feedback, and sign out of the solution. So let's go back to home page. Look at the left menu functionality. So on the main page you come into, there are three sections. At the top you have all the leads that needs handling. So here you have leads that needs to be accepted as the first stage, or here you have 3 leads that needs to be assigned to a salesperson for collection, for qualification or sales. So you can then just click on the wrench and then you can open this dialog where you can share this lead for qualification or sales. You enter the email address and add a note and press save, and then that lead is assigned to a salesperson for qualification and sales. That person will also then get an email and potentially also a push message to their mobile phone. You can also here drop the lead if it's not interesting anymore. Below that you have the flow of leads, the pipeline of leads in LeadsGO, with statistics as to number and value of these leads that are in process in LeadsGO. Below that again, you have an overview of the leads that have been collected for different periods of time, the last month, the last 2 months, 2 to 6 months, 6 to 12 and beyond 12 months. You just click on this and to get an overview of the leads that are in the different time groups. You can switch between a card view and a grid view. You can also open possibility to search for or within the leads that are displayed in this homepage. You can then look at the leads search page, which is probably the second most important page in the solution, where you can search for leads. You can enter criteria here. You can search just on the account or across accounts in portfolios, and then you can enter different criteria to the right here. When you press search, all the leads that meet these criteria are displayed, and then you can add communication with the collector of that lead, or you can go in and edit that lead, or you can select leads for mass operations. Having selected leads for mass operation, then you go to the bottom and then you select the operation you want to execute on those leads. For example, if you want to move it to another bucket, if you want to pull back from having shared the lead, you want to pull it back so you can assign it to somebody else. You can close with win and loss. There's a lot of functional possibilities in this lead search screen. And if you want to assign it to a bucket, you have to select the bucket. And if you want to work on leads or tags on leads, you have to select that here, etc. Some of these actions also require that you enter a note before you select the action you want to take on this. From here, you can, as you can see, you can also start a wizard where you want to work on specific leads, or you can also generate a report based on the lead selection that you just did on this screen. At any point where you have this leads card showing, you can just click on it to get an overview of all the information on that lead together with notes and history. If you go to persons, search persons, you can just open all the persons that are on this account, and then you can just click on this user, for example, and then you get an overview of how many leads they are collected, how many wins, usage history, and an overview of all the leads that have been created by this user. This is also a quite useful screen if your perspective is from a user angle. So that's the two search functionalities. Then you have the dashboard. You just click on that, and then you have a dashboard for this account with some general statistics here, an overview of the top 10 collectors and the top 10 handlers. A handler is somebody that has a lead assigned to him or her for qualification of sales. Below that, you have a distribution of leads by status, and then how many leads have been created for the last 5 months, January, February, etc. And then you have an overview of mobile usage for the last 5 months. You could at any point enter search criteria for this dashboard to open up for portfolios if you have access to portfolios, or if you want to look at specific buckets, or set a certain start and date for this dashboard. After that, you can look at reports functionality. It's pretty simplistic. You have a set of predefined reports that you select. There are, let's see, 6 different reports. For some of them, you have to set from and potentially a to date, and then you click on view. So let's set view date from 1st of January to see the data for this report called all leads on account. Then you see the data showing up on the screen, and you can navigate that. You can reorder and sort based on the title here, and then you can also click on send, and the send will just send to your email, to your account email, the data so that you can open it, for example, in Excel or Google Sheets. It sends to you a link to a CSV file, comma separated file. So that's a reporting functionality. Then the collector functionality is just basically a replica of the functionality of Leads Collector as seen on the mobile app. From here you can see all your leads, you can go into details, see that, you can create new leads, etc. You also have a replication of the Act functionality that you also find on the mobile LeadsGO app. And from here you can see the details, and you can work on leads and enter information as to likelihood of closure, the quality, value, etc., etc. So this Act functionality is basically a very simplistic CRM functionality in order to nurture, cultivate, and close leads with win or loss. The leads that show up on Act are the leads that are assigned to you for qualification and sales. Then you can look at LeadsFlow. LeadsFlow is all about setting up buckets, and the buckets are if you look at the drawing below here, the buckets are the sharing mechanism between the collectors and the company that are handling these leads for qualification and sales. So here you set up buckets, and you can set up as many buckets as you want. Default, when you create an account, you get one bucket that have the same name as the account. But there is no limitation as to the number of buckets you can or can't set up in the solution. You can set up buckets according to functions, according to products, according to geographies. It's really up to you. On the buckets you have a name, and then you can select an action, an automated action that is triggered when any lead is put on that bucket. By default it's no action, so that you have to manually handle the leads. But you can accept directly. You can also send it out directly for qualification or even for sales. And you can also redirect it to another bucket, even on another account if you want to do that. Below that, you also enter information as to who should receive an alert when new leads are put in this bucket, if you want to have that alert. And also for the different statuses here, for example, start sales, you also need to enter information as to who should get that lead when it's automatically sent for qualification and sales. So here you define the buckets that are the link between collectors and the company. And you also set up automated functionalities that are triggered when new leads are put in these buckets. So that's the LeadsFlow functionality. User administration. Here you have an overview of all the users that are defined and linked to this account. So here you have 16 users that have access to share leads with this account. Different colors indicate different type of roles. Red, for example, are account admin role. You just click on the lead or the user card that I just did now to get into edit mode for that given user. So here you see this is me. I'm an account admin with mobile. I can invite others, etc., etc. So here you have functionality to edit users. Just click on the user to edit that given user. On the card itself, you can also remove a user from the account. It doesn't mean that the user is deleted. That user just gets removed from an account and cannot exchange leads with that account anymore. You can also reset password from here. There's also this one, for example, that have been invited but not activated. You can activate the user also from here. To the right, you have search criteria that you can use in order to filter down what you see in the screen and not. From here, you can also enter a screen where you can basically import user data from a CSV file. So that is done in this screen. You can also from here add the user, and you can also remove all users that has been put on hold. For example, Jens have now been put on hold. You can click on this to remove that user from the account altogether. So then move on, look at account homepage. This is basically not much functionality on the account homepage, but a lot of information pertinent to the account itself. So some statistics and numbers at the top, a bit about the account owner information below there, and some more advanced options below that. To the right, you have an overview of all the buckets that are defined for this account, and also if there are any specific flows that are set up for this account. So that's the account homepage. If you have access to portfolios, that can be viewed on the portfolio menu. And from here you can see by clicking on the portfolios that you have access to, a bit about the others having access to that portfolio, and also what kind of accounts that are on that portfolio. From here you can also create new portfolios, and you can also run reports for portfolios rather than the ones out here that are run on the account. This menu item you only get access to if you are defined as a user of one of the portfolios. Below that again, you have access to alias, which is same as in emails, where you can create groups of emails that you can communicate with. You can define tags that are used in the solution, similar to tags in Gmail, for example, that you can tag and group different leads according to different logics. You can share buckets. You can invite the user just to see a bucket, for example, and not see all the buckets on the account. Here you set up the reward points. So for different events happening in the system, you set up rewards. So in this case, for example, whenever a lead is accepted on this account, the collector gets 15 points. And then you see other points for different events here. Reminders is just okay. What kind of reminders are given to the act users, the one that have leads assigned to him or her? What kind of reminders are triggered based on the quality of that lead? So reminders are basically emails sent out just to check if you are working on this lead or not, if nothing is happening to it. Events, you can set up events for the system that triggers certain actions. In this case, you see that if a lead is shared for sales, an export action is triggered. So here you have 5 different events that are happening in the system for leads, and you can add action to that event. You can send notification emails, you can run export, for example, linking it up to an external CRM system, for example. Then you can set up collector message. For example, if you want to say to all the collectors that we are looking for lead to this and this type of customers, or specifically to this company this month, you can enter a collector message here. That is automatically shown in the collector or in the LeadsGO mobile app on the front page there. This is a way to communicate with the collectors. Beyond that, you also have some history, so you can see the logs of what's happening on this account. Let's close that. If you have set up integration with an external system, Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics, etc., you get access to Integration Hub. Please feel free to contact us if this is relevant for you. It usually requires that some work in order to set that integration up before you get into the functionality of this Integration Hub. But basically the Integration Hub is when you set up an integration with integration profiles for your account, all the leads that reach a certain status in the system are automatically then put into the Integration Hub in an outbox and are regularly pushed out to the CRM system for handling in that system. Also, if you have a two-way integration, you can also see messages that come back from the CRM system about status updates, about closure with a win or loss. From here you can also send invitations out, same functionality available at the top right menu. And below that again you have access to your own user profile information where you can change name, mobile number. You can also set and change password if you want to do that. Yeah, you can also here see all the buckets that you have available to you, and you can remove and add the buckets if you want to see them in the mobile app or not. So that's kind of a walkthrough of all the functionality of LeadsGO. It's quite a bit. The main features are in the main screen, of course. In the search screen, leads, to some extent persons. The dashboard is quite useful, and reports. Collector and act, then you would usually use the mobile applications. Then the LeadsFlow we usually set up as initial stage. And then user administration is probably also a very useful page for the back office user. So that basically concludes the functionality of LeadsGO as seen from back office user perspective. If there is some more questions or you want some more information about this functionality, please feel free to reach out to us at leadsgo.com or at contact@leadsgo.com. Thanks for listening and happy hunting.